This is my predictions for 2009, where the market's headed, where the prices of gold and silver are headed, and how you can best protect yourself, where you can make the most money. Personally, I think that the S&P 500, Dow are going to go down. That's the most logical conclusion. The U.S. economy is based 75% on consumer spending, and most of consumer spending over the last 5 years has been taken out of homes. People use their houses as ATM cards. The value of the home went up, they pulled the money out and they bought something. So that 75% is going to shrink. GDP is going to contract. You're looking at, without severe intervention by the Fed, and the only intervention that the Fed has right now is printing money. So if they print a whole bunch or create digitally a whole bunch, then we're going to have inflation. If we have inflation, the price of silver and gold are going to go up. I think that the Dow, we're probably looking at, without huge physical stimulus, and what's been proposed so far is not adequate. It's not enough to stimulate the economy. A real simple analogy would be if you're playing a game of Monopoly, all the properties purchased, all the properties mortgaged, the banker runs out of cash because the properties all got mortgaged. Sound familiar? So all the players have to give the cash back to the banks so that the bank has cash again. And that's precisely what happened in 2009. The bankers ran out of money and we had to bail them out. So now they don't want to loan to us because, well, it makes sense. Most, at least America anyway, everybody's underwater. So they were barely making the bills month to month to month. And then we just had more borrowed from us, from our children actually, not us anymore. And at some point the debt of the U.S. is going to be so high that we're not going to be able to service just the interest payments. And then the people that we borrowed from are going to have to forgive the debt, possibly. That's one solution. So I just think that the monetary system is going to fall apart in 2009. They might hold it together until 2010 with a lot of printing, but the end result is that we're going to have to change the way we live. I don't see another option. So where's my money? My money's going into silver, all of it, and physical bullion is what I'm purchasing. At some point I may switch over to industrial silver purchases, because the end result is you're going to need to sell it to someone, right? I mean, if you want to make a profit on something, you have to sell it at the end. If I buy gold, well, who am I going to sell it to when the price goes to $10,000 an ounce? Who's going to buy it? Are the banks going to buy it? I don't think so. Banks have been selling gold. Banks want the price of gold to be low. So, that's the only thing there. What are you going to do with it? Silver, you got a whole bunch of people you can sell it to. Industrial use is so numerous that it's not even funny. I mean, really, if you really look into it, do some research. Look up silver paste, look up silver ink, look up photovoltaic cells, look up nuclear reactor control rods. That's a good one. PWR reactors, and pressurized water reactors. Also, nuclear submarines, nuclear-powered aircraft carriers. Look up the uses for silver. Look up antiseptics. Look up antibacterial. Look up the uses for silver are so numerous it's almost ridiculous. I mean, the bottom line is that silver had to come out of the monetary system as far as being in coins because it was too useful. There's too many things you could do with it. And gold doesn't have those properties. And whatever properties gold does have, you can simply replace it with silver. So if the price of gold goes too high, it's going to increase the demand for silver again. So, but again, you want to buy how much you can afford to sit on, because it's not a short-term play. Because they can print a lot of money to prolong this effect. But if you just look at the US dollar and how much you can purchase, it's gone down since 1913, and it's going to continue to go down, and go down even at a more rapid pace than it has. So 2009 stock market, maybe if you want to be risky, you could invest in some of the mining companies. Probably the silver mining companies would be my bet. I think that the price of silver has to go up. The more the production falls in copper, nickel, zinc, all of the others that silver was a byproduct of their mining, those are the supply of silver is going to drop this year. In 2009, it will be much lower than it was, and the demand is going to increase. I'm not saying which currency I think may fail, but at least one will. At least one currency, whether it's the euro, the dollar, the Russian ruble, the Brazil real, although Brazil I think is actually probably all right. They're going to fall. One of them. They're all fiat currencies, everything around the country. So, I mean, odds are just odds that one of them will fail. And when one fails, the general public's going to have to, fly to something to preserve their wealth. And what are they going to fly to? Maybe gold, but I think silver is a more likely bet because it's more affordable. And I think a realistic price for silver, go out on a limb here, I'm going to say $50 an ounce by the end of 2009. If we don't see $50 an ounce by the end of 2009, I'm going to go ahead and say $100 an ounce by the end of 2010. So buy it while you can. It's cheap. As long as they push the paper price down, I would be acquiring. Places to buy it, I'm going to go ahead and post some links on the more info up here, up there, little blue thing says more info. I'm going to post some links to places to buy that I found the best prices. I do actually would some on eBay as long as the price is right. I wouldn't pay a high markup because I think that the amount of people that have cash even right now that can go out and buy silver is low. I don't recommend using credit cards. I mean, that's risky, very risky, but risk reward, as they say. So 2009 Dow, I'm going to go 3,700. Yeah, that's pretty bad, huh? S&P, I'm going to go 450 for 2009. By the end of 2009, that's where we're going to be. Unless we have huge stimulus, then I'm going to say Dow, probably 12,000. Huge stimulus we're talking. We're talking big checks directly to people, to the private sector, or the public sector, but to individuals. And I mean huge stimulus. Then we're going to have hyperinflation. In silver, we're looking at maybe 200 to 300 an ounce, and gold 4,000 to 5,000 an ounce. But again, I think gold is going to tank at some point. It's going to be an up and down ride, just like silver was with the Hunt brothers. The difference this time is that the demand that creates the spike in silver is going to be generated by individuals who are purchasing it and holding on to it, as opposed to a speculator just trying to run in and corner the market. Basically what's going to happen is the general population of some country or multiple countries will corner the market on silver, at least the above ground supply. So that's my predictions for 2009-2010.